We are headed back to Australia. I wish I could say Australia in an Australian accent. Australia. I can't say it, but I love the Australian accent. We're going to check out a band called Karnivool and a song called Salva. Salva meaning safe, rescue, derived from the Latin salvus, or in Spanish and Italian, the verb salvare. So let's check this out. Shout out today goes to Timothy, who asked me to review this band, and I was told this is his favorite song of the new album that came out in February. Make sure to subscribe. Thank you, Timothy, for the suggestion. If you don't know the band Karnivool yet, go check them out. I'll put the link in the description and enjoy this with me. I have no idea what to expect, but it's always fun to go into a song blind and just to let it impress on you, just to experience it for what it is. I was also told by Timothy that there are fan-made lyric videos, but that they may be a bit distracting. So we're going to just listen to this. This image is interesting. In verses. The I and the V are highlighted. IV. Huh. The tree almost looks like veins. That's track number 10, by the way, of their album In Verses. This is a brand new album, y'all. Go check them out.
There ain't no place I'd rather be, but I've gotta go. I've gotta run away.
This makes me think of Thrice's softer songs.
I'll carry my heart down to the sea and let the salt dissolve it. These things happen now, we're straying to ruin. Even when all of the sounds ahead say, what are you doing?
I like this. Oh, I'm glad there's no visuals. This right here. That's the music you just gotta feel, absorb.
My shaking hands, now that I know for real, there's somebody else in those eyes, someone who's scared.
The harmonies are beautiful.
I'm already dead to you, so put down the knife. I think you've made enough scars. Your words are barbed wire.
Wow.
There ain't no place I'd rather be, but I gotta go. I gotta run away. Don't wait when I'm gone.
I gotta pause for a second. These are really deep lyrics. There ain't no place I'd rather be, but I've gotta go. I've gotta run away. What are we running from? That paradox of wanting to be somewhere but not being able to stay. My mind and my heart goes to places of abuse where you're in a relationship and you want to be around this person. If they were whole and healthy, you love them. You'd love to be here and with this person in this place, but you can't. You've got to go. I'll carry my heart down to the sea and let the salt dissolve it. These wordings make me think of some of Thrice's softer song. They have this amazing album. It's like a 4-piece, 4-side, 4-part album. I can't remember the name right now. I'll have to look it up. I should bring some Thrice to this channel. I haven't listened to them in a long time. And it has that feel compositionally. And it's the kind of music that, like I said, I'm glad there are no visuals because it allows me just to feel the music and to let it have an impression on me. to go down to the sea and let the salt dissolve it. That imagery of going to the ocean and the salty waters, the sand, is a powerful picture to me, because to many people, the ocean can mean comfort. Being around water is scientifically therapeutic to our brain. It allows for there to be movement in our mind. I read something powerful the other day, by the way. Bear with me, it's connected, where it said how ultimately our brain is just, this organ trapped in the darkness of our skull. And we often assume that it's just the brain sending signals to the rest of our body, when a lot of it is also the body experiencing things that is sending information back to the brain. When we feel things, when we touch things, when we're around things. So for example, when we look at water and how we're told being around water can be therapeutic, allegedly part of that reason is because being around water, which flows and moves, stimulates our mind to also flow. So sometimes you might find people being more creative, ideas flowing when they're around a body of water, or when you're touching something and that stimulating you through your senses a certain way, that's sending information back to your skull. And it's not your brain in your skull. It's not just the brain sending signals to tell our body what to do. It's this symbiotic relationship, right? This give and take. For some, the ocean maybe implies this vastness, a feeling of overwhelm, of being lost. And here we're painting a picture, beautiful songwriting, that makes me think of salt. Salt dissolving a heart, where it should be a place where your heart can find some comfort. The salt now becomes something painful. And any of you who have been to the ocean know this feeling, right? The sunset, the water, the waves, the sand, it might feel and look majestic. But once you go under in that water, it's kind of uncomfortable if you get salt in your mouth or in your eyes. It's some weird dichotomy, the ocean. And so here, this picture is very profound to talk about salt dissolving a heart. It sounds painful. It sounds like something is not right. These things happen now. We stray into ruin, even when all of the signs ahead say, what are you doing? Which is crazy, because I'm hearing turmoil here relationally, and this place, still finding oneself in a place where you recognize you're headed towards ruin, something bad is coming, and yet you know that there are still signs warning you. And a lot of times that's what's happening. It doesn't happen overnight when it comes to abuse or toxic relationships. When we go astray, when someone betrays another, cheats on someone, a lot of these painful experiences that happen in human relationships don't just happen overnight. A lot of it creeps in, with a lot of it, there are warning signs. What are you doing? And often we don't listen. And then in the verse 1, it says, staring at my shaking hands, now that I know for real there's somebody else in those eyes. This is interesting to me, because at first I thought he was speaking of himself, where you're struggling with your mental health and perhaps you recognize there's that good and that evil within yourself. You don't recognize yourself, or you fear the bad you might be capable of. But now I'm wondering if this is more about that another person that he or she is in relationship with, that they're looking into their eyes and it's somebody else. You're not that person that I used to know and love. Someone who's scaring me. I'm already dead to you. And now this next part is powerful to me. I'm seeing somebody else in those eyes. I don't recognize you anymore. You're scaring me. But then to say, I'm already dead to you, so put down the knife, is powerful, profound songwriting. Because to me that implies, why do you keep hurting me? I'm already dead to you. You wouldn't be hurting me if I wasn't already dead to you. If you still cared about me, if I was still alive to you, if this relationship still had life in it, if you saw me as a valuable living human being, you wouldn't do what you're doing. So somewhere along the lines, you must have decided I'm dead to you, or I must have become dead to you for some reason. Why are you still, which, would be indicated by how you're treating me, how you're scaring me, how I don't recognize you anymore. So why are you still holding that knife? It's done. I think you've made enough scars. Your words are barbed wire. Barbed wire, this picture of pain, excruciating pain, and thin cuts that cut profoundly deep and leave terrible scars. Your words, it's not even just your action. It's not just the fact you're holding a knife or what I see when I look in your eyes. Even words that come out of someone's mouth are so painful. And then it goes to the chorus, and that crescendo kicks in a bit, the harmonies, that guitar riff, the notes that they're using, it's very sombering. It's sad and mysterious, but the chord progression, along with these harmonies, as this buildup is kicking in, it pulls me in. It's this kind of song that makes me feel like I'm being pulled in, as if I was in the ocean and the waves are pulling me further and further out. There's no place I'd rather be, but I've got to go. I've got to run. I can't stay here anymore. It makes me think of an abusive relationship. And I'm not just thinking romantic. This could be between friends. This could be singing towards your parent, father or mother. that bass, that bass.
I'm not coming home. Say a few words at the funeral, 'cause we were close, closer than I've ever known. Remember how it felt safe. How can I feel that safe now that I know there ain't no place I'd rather be? But I gotta go, I gotta run away. I'll carry my heart down to the sea. Let the salt dissolve it.
This composition is epic. That bass line and the drums, it just carries this whole piece.
We need to heal so slow.
I love his voice too.
Maybe there's somewhere new that we can go. I'll run for miles if you promise me there's a better way. I'll run for miles. There ain't no place I'd rather be.
There ain't no place I'd rather be.
I gotta run away.
It's just like out of my heart.
I'll carry my heart down to the sea. Let the salt dissolve it.
Man, this song hits home. I can feel this. Feels like a racing heartbeat.
Let the sea wash away everything so I can begin to breathe. Feeling my lungs ready to run for miles and miles and miles. Let the sea wash away everything so I can begin to breathe. Feeling my lungs ready to run for miles and miles and miles.
This is incredible. That was epic. That was freaking epic. What a beautiful song. This whole arrangement, that switch in the end, the drums just carried that bass line. And then the guitar, it went ham. It almost sounded like bagpipes. That riff was legendary. The whole composition, I don't even know which part I liked most. I feel like it flowed together so beautifully. This is profound. It makes me think of that restlessness when he says in the end, forever running, and that just tags and tags. It makes me think of that pain. The restlessness when you're trying to get away from someone who has caused you so much hurt, whose words are like barbed wire, who's holding the knife, who treats you like you're dead to them and you don't recognize that person anymore when you used to be so close. And you would want to be around them. You actually want to be there, but you can't. You've got to go. And then that imagery of just running to the ocean, of trying to get away and saying, I'm forever running. And I can relate to that part because as much as even in my own life, I've healed from that abusive relationship, there's a level of restlessness that that stays with you. And you can use it well, right? I've through therapy and through healing, I think we can learn to reframe and decide what are we going to story to ourselves. And I take pride even in the pain that I've been through because it allows me to help other people and to care and to live fully. But at the same time, there's a restlessness that comes with not, especially depending on who the person of that wound was, or who the person was that held the knife. It sometimes just stays with you and causes a level of restlessness where you feel like you got to keep running, looking for that water to wash away the pain, running for miles, hoping you can somehow fix this, hoping you can somehow redeem this story. And at the same time, that contrasting image of the water washing it all away. I love the dichotomy here because while the lyrics are really sad and profound, and it speaks of having to leave something you don't want to leave in order to survive, but at the same time, the salt dissolving your heart and running from miles, trying to desperately find a way out of this. And this is how I'm interpreting the lyrics. At the same time, the composition was so beautiful that it made me feel free. The way that guitar ham in the end, the way that the drums carried it all, the bass line, it sounded like the ocean. It sounded like the flood and the ebb and the flow, the tide and the flood coming in. And there was something free about this composition. And I feel like it created this, not a cognitive dissonance. It didn't feel like I don't know how to make these two things agree with each other. It felt like it complemented one another. And I think that is very fitting to life, is because you'll have pain and suffering. You'll look for a remedy. You'll look for salva, for some type of rescue, to be safe, to find comfort and healing. And there's pain in that plea of saying, I would run for miles if I only knew, if I could only find a way. Why do we need to heal so slow? I love that question. Why does it take so long? I can relate to that because even after years of the worst part of these injuries, there's still moments when it's like, man, I thought I should have been over this by now. Why does this still hurt? Maybe there's somewhere new that we can go. And I love that too, because I think it's this negotiating where you wish that if you could go somewhere, it doesn't say, I wish I could go somewhere. It says we. To me, makes me think of that negotiating, wishing that if you both just went somewhere else, it would fix it all. I'll run for miles if you promise me there's a better way. That to me is powerful because it makes me think of even domestic abuse, where you have a partner that's saying, I would run for miles. I will sacrifice it all if you promise me there's a better way. If there's any way we could be together, if there's any way we could fix this. It makes me think of addiction and someone who is suffering and causing suffering and wishing there's a better way, wishing there's hope for this relationship, hope for you, hope for me. I would run for miles to achieve that. It makes so many different dynamics we could interpret here in this relationship, but it's this plea, this negotiating, this pain of saying, maybe there's somewhere we can go. Maybe there's a fresh start. It makes me think of also a relationship that's ending, or a married couple at the brink of divorce saying, maybe there's somewhere new we can go. Maybe it's our surroundings, our circumstances, the place we're in. And if we just were to take it out of that, we could find healing. I'll run for miles if you promise me there's a better way. There's still this pleading, this negotiating. This is real human pain. And to then say, I've got to run away. Let the sea wash away everything. This is where that therapeutic water comes in. And the whole composition felt like water, like I said, like that salty ocean breeze, like the flood, the ebb and flow that pull. On one hand, you feel like you're getting sucked further back and you're hurting and drowning. At the same time, you feel like it's washing over you and cleansing you. I can begin to breathe, filling my lungs, ready to run for miles and miles and miles. There's this dichotomy, this beautiful contrast that this composition and the lyrics created that made me feel that pain of that negotiating, that pleading, that desperation, the pain, the loss, the grieving, but at the same time, hope of being made new, of running till you can't run anymore, of letting water wash over you and being renewed. And I think this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful composition. Please go check out Karnivool on YouTube. Karnivoolaus is their YouTube channel. Go listen to Salva and their brand new album In Verses. Thank you for this suggestion, Timothy. I appreciate this. I will see you guys on the next ride.